Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. And before I get to our guests here today, I'd like to remind everyone that if you enjoy this content, to please give a like and subscribe down below. We'd greatly appreciate it. We have Clare Barks on the show with us. She's a British champion. She's an IFBB figure athlete. But most importantly, she's our current guest. Clare, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you give us a little bit of a backstory on what inspired you and motivated you to make that healthy and fit lifestyle change?
I guess it's always been with me, really. Right throughout school age, I played sports. Absolutely loved physical education classes. I was in all the teams: netball, hockey, tennis, athletics. I represented the school and the county in short distance running, so sprinting, 4x100 relay. It's always been a part of me. I've always been really, really competitive. So I always play to win. It's just within me. And then later on, when I left school, all my qualifications were around children. So child development, play therapy, working with children. And I started working as a nanny in London for a couple of years. And it was a live-in position. And the family gave me a free membership to a gym. So went along there and immediately sort of gravitated towards the weights area. So it was kind of from then on when my passion for lifting weights became a thing. I was literally there Monday to Friday, every single evening, watched how people trained. Then I started reading up because it was like magazines back then. It wasn't like internet and all that. So read magazines, tried different workouts out, and then that sort of led on to the interest of nutrition. So then I sort of trialed out my diet a little bit, watched how my body changed. So the passion has always been there. So fitness has really always been a part of my life. It was never like I wanted to change my body, so I got into fitness. It wasn't like I was unhappy. I wasn't like bullied or anything. It's just within me. So yeah.
One of the stereotypes that we love to bust on this podcast is, it's gotten better the last 5 years with Instagram, but there are just a lot of women that believe if they go into the gym and touch one weight, they're just going to, gain 50 pounds of muscle overnight. Was that ever a fear that you had when you were getting started, that you didn't want to, get super, super bulky? Or was it one of those things where you just sort of realized, it's going to take a lot of time? But I bet you also hear that a lot now. What is your main response?
Me personally, it was more a frustration the other way. I want muscle. I'm like, why isn't it happening? I want to look like this sort of thing. So it was never fear for me. It was more a case of I want it and I want it now sort of thing. But on the flip side of that, being a personal trainer and getting new clients in, it's still like, I want to tone up, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to get too big. If I lift weights, will I get big? Shouldn't I do like high reps, low weight sort of thing? So it's still a massive myth, which is crazy. But I just say, look at me. I've been training consistently for years and years and years. I'd be huge now if that was the case.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I just say, look at me, it's not the case, especially, women naturally, we haven't got the testosterone that men do. So no, basically.
Guilty as charged on that. Yes. I always love to tell the story of when I was in college. One of my really good friends, she would always say like, Ryan, I gained about 15 pounds of muscle the first year, and she would always say, I really want to go to the gym with you, but I'm just afraid that I'm going to get like super bulky and super big. And finally one night I just told her, I said, look, the amount of weight that you carry in your purse when we go out to clubs or when we go eat weighs more than a lot of the dumbbells in the gym, and you are not gaining any amount of muscle from lugging that thing around 24/7. So that finally convinced her. And I always tell people, it's like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to get healthy. And so that's why whenever someone asks, I always recommend it. And just the confidence boost alone that it gives you is just huge in and of itself. But I also love to make the statement that if you're going to walk into a gym with 100 people, there are 100 different ways as to how those people got into shape, whether it comes down to, their diet, their nutrition, how many reps they do, what exercises they do. All these little things end up adding to the package that you end up seeing. And if you were to go up to someone and say like, hey, that body part of yours looks amazing. Like, what did you do for that? What worked best for them 99% of the time isn't going to work as good for you. Was that a struggle for you at first, sort of figuring out what worked best for your body?
Yeah, I don't know. I've played around with. I don't really know what specific thing, or training style work for me. It's just literally progressively getting better, getting stronger, improving technique. It's just literally consistency day in, day out. I can't, I'm very much a progressive overload, sort of low volume, high intensity sort of trainer, always have been. So yeah, it's literally just consistency. I've not sort of, noticed once. I mean, now in the past, I'd sort of consistently carried on with weight training, but I also played netball. I also did running. I did other bits on the side. But once I just focused consistently on just the weights and, the competing, then that's, I suppose, when I noticed more progression.
It's a huge thing of trial and error that, is one of those things that you really just need to find out what works best for you. Because I always like to say, I mean, especially with my generation and like you were talking about too, people want it now and they want it yesterday. They want the changes where they don't realize it is such a time process where it's going to take a while for you to get those results. But once you see them, I mean, it can be super, super motivating and inspirational. So, I mean, people just got to stick in there.
You don't see it until you look back.
Mm-hmm.
It's the frustration of like, a week's gone. You're like, no difference. It's just getting into, letting people understand that you just have to keep going. Mm-hmm. It's only when you do like the transformation, Transformation Tuesday things, from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, then you're like, wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, I always love to make the comparison. I mean, between maybe someone who is an alcoholic and someone who needs to lose weight. If you're an alcoholic and you go one day without drinking, I mean, you've already made significant, steady progress. Like, you're on the right path. Whereas if you go to the gym for one day and you look in the mirror, you're not going to see really any change. Where it's just, you just got to convince yourself, like, we need to keep going. We need to keep, just doing this. So yeah, that's why I think it's a struggle for a lot of people. But yeah, like you said, once you finally like look in the mirror, might look at some old photos and you realize, oh wow, I really did this. I mean, that can just be a huge, huge motivator. But I also love to ask, because everyone's made up differently. Everyone has their own genetic makeup. Everyone always has that one body part that really, really just takes off, and really they don't have to train as much. That's just genetically just built for them. And then everyone always has that one body part that really lags behind, and then they sort of have to train to overdrive to get it to catch up to everything else. What are those body parts for you?
I'd say, I don't know, because I want to progress everything. I've never, I don't know, maybe my quads, because in primary school I always noticed that my legs look different to other girls' legs. I was a little bit self-conscious about it to start with, because my friends would always have these straight up and down, and I'd always have what I call boy legs, because you could always see my quad sweep. Yep. So yeah, possibly my quads. I mean, I'm always very, very self-critical, so I always want to develop. I'm like, that's rubbish. I need to get bigger with that. so yeah, maybe my quads if I had to pick one body part. But yeah, I'm always trying to improve everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always, you got to have everything in the right proportions. I mean, for me, my back is one of those things where I can train it, once every, 2 or 3 weeks, and it still looks amazing. But I'm also 6'3", so my legs are my biggest, pet peeve, where I have to train them into overdrive just because I'm just so long and lengthy. Where yeah, my leg days I absolutely hate them, but you gotta get it done. But yeah, at least I'm not one of those. I mean, we had people on, so we had one lady on who I asked that same question, and she's like, oh yeah, my calves just naturally genetically built. And I was like, okay, get off the. I was like, we're done talking now. Like, I hate those people with just the big calves. Oh my god, like
that's just one thing that I just whatever I do, high rep, low rep, heavy. No, yep. Just no.
Yeah, I mean, I could do 10,000 calf raises a day, and I could literally inject pure muscle into my calves, and they wouldn't change. I'm just one of those people where it just naturally. I mean, I'm just not meant to do that, and I see these guys walking in sometimes, and gals too, that just have just huge calves, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, it's one of those genetic things. Yeah.
Train them,
Yeah, it's totally just I mean, I don't get it. But at what point in your journey did you decide, like, hey, I could do a bodybuilding show? Because a lot of our guests, I mean, it's usually like a people come up to them and like recommend it for them. Was that your story, or did you sort of get into that differently?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'd weight trained for years before I even started competing. I've only been competing since 2013. So yeah, I weight trained consistently from that day one when I walked into the gym, started weight training. It's always been a part of me from then on. But like I said, on top of that, I still played netball. I still did running. I still went out partying on the weekend. It was like, it's always a part of my life, but it was never like working towards anything. But yeah, so I did occasionally get people sort of saying to me in the gym, you know, you training for anything sort of thing? And I'm like, no, I just like doing it sort of thing, you know. And it was only really when social media came around, because I knew bodybuilding was a thing, and I'd read the magazines and I'd see the big guys on there and I knew they competed. I just didn't think it was like a woman thing. You know, I'd see like the big women bodybuilders, but I never thought, you know, like figure anything like that. I just didn't think it was a thing. And then, like I say, when social media came around and I started seeing girls on stage in bikinis and looking, you know, amazing and muscular, I'm like, wow, that is what I want to do. Maybe that's something I could do. But I was like, hadn't got a clue, didn't know what the hell to do, how you do it. So I spoke to my other half, and he's like, yeah, just go for it. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I Googled bodybuilding gyms and found a local gym, in fact, primitive gym here, found a local gym, and it took me so long to pluck up the courage, but I was like, right, I'm doing it. Stood outside, I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. So I walked in and I sort of said, right, okay, I think I want to do this competing thing, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know who to do it with, you know, what category to do. So they gave me some advice. They're really, really good, actually. Next thing I knew, I was training with one of their personal trainers there. We picked a federation, picked a show, picked a category. I'm like, right, I've got 6 months, let's do it. So he did all the training with me, and I just did all the nutrition, completely blagged it, didn't have a clue. I knew I had to eat protein, dropped a few carbs, see what happens. I watched some posing on YouTube, and that was it. Didn't get any posing lessons, and just winged it, really, basically. Went to the show, and I placed third, and I got an invite to the British finals. So my second show was the British finals, which was like, okay. And I placed top 6, and I came 5th, which was, I was like, okay, maybe that was all right. So I then jumped straight to another show, which was, I think it was just a month later, jumped into another show, which was a qualifier for the next year's British finals, and I won.
Wow.
I was like, okay, maybe I'm all right at this. And then the next British finals, I placed 4th. So I was like, step up. And this was all doing it myself, you know, completely just winging it, basically. And it was only after that, in my 3rd year of competing, that I joined up with a coach. And that completely opened my eyes. Because I'm like, oh, God, I've not been eating that much. I didn't know I could do that. And, you know, so, yeah, and it just sort of spiraled from that. And in fact, in that 3rd year, that's when I won the British finals. So I became British champion in that year, 2015. And so, yeah, it's sort of gone on from there, and now I'm trying to do pro qualifiers. And so, yeah.
So we've had the first person on here that has won a show without doing any posing classes, without doing anything, and just winging it. That is awesome, because we have so many people that come on that, you know, have to have their posing coaches. They have to have all this. I mean, that just truly shows, you know, how good of a shape that, like, she really got into it. Then if she was able to win without, you know, all of the coaching, because it is one of those things that you really have to, you know, do a lot of practice for. But I also love to ask, because if you were to poll the general public, you would get a small singular percentage of people that would be willing to, you know, go up on stage and pose in basically a bikini in front of people. I mean, it's something that a lot of people, you know, need the courage to do, or it's a thing that takes a lot of courage, and it's something that, you know, you need a lot of motivation for. Was that ever a struggle for you, realizing that you're going to go up on stage in front of a lot of people, or was it just one of those things that a lot of our other guests eventually say that, you know, where it's like, I worked out so much that I just wanted to go up on stage and show it off? What was that like for you?
No, for me, it's not really. I've never been a like showy kind of person. So the actual going on stage bit is the hardest bit, I think. And also, the better I've done, the more pressure I feel to do well. So then the more nervous I get. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the better I do, the more confident I get. It's more that first show, I had no expectations. I thought, let's just do it. Nobody knows me, but now people know me and they know I've done well before. There's a little bit more pressure, and to me as well, competing is not the be all and end all. I don't do this just to compete. I love the whole process. I love the off season, the challenges of off season. I love the challenges of prep. I love the feeling crap in prep. I love that challenge. It's competing is part of it, obviously, but I see it more of like milestones. So you get your photographs from the competitions, and then you look back at previous competitions, you see your progress, and then you're doing it again. It's all about improving. And so it's not just about the competing, because if I didn't have that, and bodybuilding competitions wasn't a thing, I'd still do this. If social media wasn't the thing, I'd still do this. It's part of me, it's my lifestyle. So I still do find it tough, because I'm very, very self-critical. I'm like, I could be better at that pose. I could do better at that. So I'm always trying to improve. So I watch myself back. I'm like, no, I could have done that better. I need to do that better. So it's not as easy as it is for other people with like dance backgrounds or performance backgrounds. That's not me. And I'm not a very look at me showy sort of person.
I totally understand that self-critical thing. I mean, believe me, when I go over these podcasts and edit them, I'm always like, oh, I could have done that better. I could have done this better, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I completely understand that. But speaking about prep, I mean, I love to talk about it, because I always love to say, if you were to get into the shape that you need to get into in order to think about going on a prep, takes so much hard work and dedication for the average person. But then going on to prep is just notching things up to a whole different level, where it comes, you got to get all of your workouts in. You got to eat the right food at the right times. What is your favorite thing about prep and least favorite thing about prep?
I love the fact that not many people could do it. That's why I do it. It's a challenge. Mm-hmm. So it sounds weird, but the worse I feel, the better do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I thrive off that. I thrive off the challenge. I know I hit every workout. I know I hit every minute of cardio. I know I measure everything out to the gram, food-wise. And it's just the challenge of doing that and knowing that I can tick those boxes off. I'm getting up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's just, I thrive off the challenge of it, and that's why I do it. Like I say, if I wasn't to compete at the end of it, I'd still do it. It's just part of me. So it's the challenge, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, not that many people can do it. I mean, it takes so much. That's one thing that I've learned since I've started this. I mean, I even knew in college when I had a couple of friends that did it, but I mean, just what it does to people, and just how motivational it is, and how just in tune you have to be in order to go through a prep successfully is just so inspirational. But we talked about it just a tad bit, but I love to talk about it because the posing for a lot of people is the hardest thing. It's harder than their nutrition. It's harder than their working out. I mean, it is one of those things where I always love to say, you can be a great driver. You can never be a perfect driver. The same thing goes with posing. You can be a great poser. You can never be a perfect poser. It is ever evolving. Was posing something that just came naturally for you, or is it something that you really had to work on?
Yeah, really didn't. Even now, I'm forever tweaking it. I'm forever like, right, this is how I get into this pose. Oh no, I'll do it this way. And then I practice and I'm like, oh no, that's wrong. I decided to do it this way. And it frustrates the hell out of me. And it hurts. It hurts. Especially throughout a prep when you're practicing and you're exhausted. It's the one thing that I find the hardest, to tell you the truth. And when you go on stage, it all goes out your head and you do something completely different. And then you come off and you're like, that's not what I was supposed to do. But I practice more and more now. The more serious, and the better I've got, I know it's something that I need to work on. And so I practice a lot more now. Even throughout my off season, I make sure that it's something that that I continue to do. But
what are the mandatories for the British bodybuilding shows? Because I know we've had a British bikini competitor on, and their mandatories were different than the American ones. So what are the mandatories for the figure?
I think because I've always done the UK BFF, and now it's the NPC equivalent of Pro Qualifier. I think they're similar to your NPC, so I think we're all the same with figure. Because we have got other federations that do all the overhead poses and all that. I've never done that, so for me, in figure, it's the same as pretty much the same, just the quarter turns.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say we had the girl on who did a bikini, and they still did, like the bicep thing, and I was like, oh, that's weird because we don't do that over here. So yeah, they do the same poses, but out of the quarter turns and out of all four of the poses that you do for your mandatories, what is your favorite, and then what is your least favorite?
Side pose to the left is my favorite. right is awkward. For some reason, I naturally go better into that side than that side. The back pose is all right. Front pose, that's great. But yeah, it's all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's all about you, like you were talking about before, like finding those right lightings and finding, I always like to say for the people that are really good at Instagram, I mean, they're going to be good at their posing because, they know how to find the lights.
Instagram, though,
Yeah.
because you can tweak it a little bit. You
Yeah.
can add a bit of a shadow, and it's completely. People can look
Yeah.
completely different.
Oh yeah, believe me, I've seen some of these people if you were to meet them in person, yeah, you'd be like, oh really, you posted that on Instagram and that's what you look like. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just a whole, yeah. It can help support the illusion, yeah. I mean 100%. But I always love to ask, all the guests that I have on, whether they be bands or health and fitness people. For my bands, I always like to ask, what is that feeling like when you get to go on stage and perform live? What is that feeling like for you? And that also applies to the bodybuilders that we have on. What is that feeling like for you? I mean, when you get to step on stage and, like I said, all of that hard work, the months upon months of being on prep, and you finally get to go on stage. What is that feeling like?
It's a feeling of accomplishment. It is a feeling like, yeah, I made it, I did it, I got here. Because for me, if I wasn't in condition, if I didn't feel happy that I'd got to that point where I could be worthy to stand on the stage, I wouldn't stand on the stage. So the fact that I'm on the stage, it means I'm happy, I've got there. So, this is me, sort of thing. But like I was saying in the past, it's not, standing on stage isn't like natural to me. So there is some nerves there. You see me backstage before a competition, I'm very, very quiet. I go within myself. I don't talk to anybody. It's not until after I come off the stage then I'm like, hi, I'll chat to people. But for me, I have to get in my little bubble, which calms me down and gives me that confidence to go on the stage. But yeah, it is a sense of accomplishment. It is like, yeah, I've achieved.
Yeah, I couldn't believe, what that must feel like, just because knowing what prep can be like. But I also love to ask, because I'm a very pale person myself. From the upper Midwest, and I've never been tan a day in my life. I only get like farmer's tan. But what is that feeling like when you put that tan on? Because we have so many people that come on and talk about, like you see muscles that you never even knew that you had. Everything really seems to pop out. What is that feeling like for you when you put that tan on and you finally like realize even more what that hard work will look like?
Yeah, that is awesome. I can't wait to put the tan on. You can even wake up the morning of the show and go, no, that muscle was there before, and it's not. And as soon as you get that tan, you're like, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, it's a massive boost in confidence because it shows everything, which is awesome. So yeah.
But the one negative thing I gotta say about that is that when you do get the tan, most people don't realize you have to be like a statue though for those days that you have. You can't really sit on anything, you can't really do anything. You don't want to rub off. So yeah.
And the oil, everything is just filthy. You wonder why you spent all this money on like your makeup, your nails, your bikini, because you get off stage and literally everything is black. Your shoes are black. Everything's smudged. Yeah,
it's definitely one of those things that people don't realize, so I love to bring that to the attention. But one of my favorite questions to ask, what is your go-to post-show meal?
Post-show meal. I block out all crave. Throughout prep, I don't even think about food. I'm not one of these people that stashes like post-show binge food or anything like that. Block it all out, so I don't even think about it. But generally, post-show, the first thing I crave is either a Thai green chicken curry or a chili con carne and a vanilla cheesecake.
Oh, yeah, that sounds really good.
I'm not like a pizza burger kind of person. I don't like loads of sweets. And once I've had that meal, I'm cool. I'm fine. Just a good, Thai curry or chili con carne. A little bit of vanilla cheesecake. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm probably the most basic American ever because if I ever competed, I would get Five Guys burger and fries. They have these big hamburgers. I would just get two. Yeah, they are expensive, but yeah, that would be totally worth it for me. But one of my most important questions that I love to ask, because it is not talked about enough on Instagram, I don't think, is, I'll give an example. So I was at a New Year's Eve party and one of my friends came up to me and said, and he also lifts weights too, but he came up to me and said, Ryan, I really enjoy watching your podcast. But one of the things that I was really shocked by is that a lot of these people, I mean, they're not able to maintain that stage look of, or like everyone, because it's a look that, I mean, you've manipulated your body through all the working out and through all the dieting into a look that you're not going to be able to keep. I mean, you see all these people who post these photos, and then you might see them like a month later, and it's like, yeah, they are not able to keep that look, and no one really is. It's a very impossible look to attain. Was that ever a struggle for you at first, realizing that, you know, like, hey, this dieted down look that I have, it's not going to be able to look that I'm going to be able to maintain, especially if I want to, you know, put on muscle or gain size, or, you know, if I just want to be healthy, because it's not going to be a positive thing. Was that ever a struggle for you? Because we have a lot of people that come on here that might get like anxious or depressed, knowing that like, hey, all this hard work that I put into it, I am going to eventually have to put on weight. Was that ever a struggle for you?
No, I mean, you do not feel good when you're that lean, and people don't understand that. You know, I get messages on Instagram, oh wow, you know, look amazing, you're so lucky. I'm like, no, it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot sustain that low level of body fat, you know, for longer than, you know, a couple of weeks, few weeks maximum before, you know, before you feel absolute rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
So no, and I know that. And for me, it's not a problem at all. You know, I really don't mind, because I see the long term goal. I know that if I sustained, you know, a lean physique throughout my off season, I'm not going to progress. I'm not going to make the improvements that I want to make. So, and I don't care. I just stick a hoodie on. I stick tracksuits on. I don't care a bit of fat. It really does not bother me at all. The only thing that's bothered me in the past is when I wasn't working with a coach, doing an off season by myself, constantly second guessing. Like, am I eating enough? Am I eating too much? Am I too fat now? Should I be fatter? You know? So now working with a coach throughout my off season, I'll do as I'm told. You know, we'll decide if I'm putting on too much fat. If I'm, you know, so, and it doesn't bother me at all. You know, had you asked me if I'd started competing at a younger age, mm-hmm. maybe it would have bothered me a little bit more. But now I'm a little bit older. I don't care what people think, and I know it's a means to progression. So for me, no, it doesn't bother me.
That is the second time on our show, out of all of the guests that we've had on, that they've said that a bodybuilder came on and said, I don't know if I'm fat enough, if I've gotten fat enough when I sometimes when I do these things. So yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we had one lady who came on and said, you know, like, to be completely honest, I hate working out. I just love the way it makes me look. And she was a bodybuilder. Yeah. And I was like, you know, we finally got one person to come on and admit it. Cause I thought, I was like, some of these people must not really love, but they just love the way it makes it look. So we finally found that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, everyone has those days too, where they lack the motivation, but when you have those days, what are some tips and tricks that you use to still motivate yourself to be able to go up and, you know, get in the gym?
Just knowing that I've got a goal to meet. Mm-hmm. And knowing that I would beat myself up, you know, if I didn't go during a prep, you know, off season, if I'm ill or if, you know, I feel beat up from a workout, obviously you've got to be sensible and I listen to my body. You know, on a prep, I've got a goal and I will do it, you know, and yes, you get up some days and you're like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, but it lasts a second and I'm like, yeah, for me, it's all about priorities. What, you know, you make time to do things. You will do something if you've got a goal in mind. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with me with working out too, where I mean, as soon as I get started, then it just goes away, where I'm just like, yeah, okay, you know, I'm fine now. So yeah, it's a lot of it is just showing up and just, you know, making sure that you just at least start, and then 99% of the time, I mean, it goes away. But I mean, these are two of my favorite questions that I love to ask each of the guests that we have on now. So for me personally, when I started getting, you know, bigger and stronger in college and working out, the one negative thing for me is that you're going to get asked to move a lot of people's furniture. You're going to get asked to open a lot of pickle jars. I mean, I'm still at home with my parents for the next couple of months before I move out. And every time, you know, they come home with groceries, I basically have to lift the car into the driveway and carry in all the groceries. Has that been a similar thing with you, where you found that just because of the way that you look, I mean, especially when you get dieted down and when you're in your prep, that people just assume that you can do favors for them?
No, I don't think I've ever got that. I think I'd be more frustrated if somebody offered to help me do something. I'm like, no, I can do that. Yeah. If somebody said, would you like me to lift that for you? I'm like, no.
Just be like, yeah, doesn't it look like I can do that? So yeah.
I think the more annoying thing is, can I arm wrestle you, or can you flex your biceps, or can I see your abs? That's more annoying. But I don't think I've ever been asked to move something or lift something. Yeah.
That's you are so very lucky. But I mean, for me too, I always say, it's also, well, a lot of it's for me being a guy, and secondly, I mean, just being as tall that I am. Even if I didn't have any muscle at all, people would just take one look at me walking down the street and be like, oh, tall guy, he can come help me out with whatever I need. So yeah, it got to a point. So like last summer, all my friends every other weekend would be like, oh, hey Ryan, I'm moving out, can you help me move my stuff? And it got to a point where I just told him, I said, as long as you let me get my workout in before I help you move, because I'm not going to get tired moving your stuff and then not be able to work out. Yeah, I'll be very upset if that happens. But so yeah, it just made me realize, it's they recognize, all the working out, but yeah, I totally get, asking to flex all the time, because like when I was really in shape, a lot more in shape when I was in college, I'd go out to clubs and girls would just walk up to me sometimes and they just grab my arms without even like asking permission. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. So
yeah, when I was younger, when I was carried on going out at weekends and stuff constantly.
Yeah.
So can you flex?
Yep. It almost got to a point where you were basically just doing your posing routine, kind of. I mean, it's like you're getting part of your posing done out of the day. So, I mean, I guess that's the one positive I can get from that. But I mean, probably my favorite overall question, and again, this is a multi-million-dollar idea before I ask this question, everyone out there. But when it comes to clothes for fit women, your clothing options can be limited. I always love to say, like if you have big, broad shoulders, dresses aren't your best friend. Jeans are another thing that we hear of all the time, where because, bodybuilders normally have, big lower bodies and small waists, so jeans are not made for that. What are some ways that you sort of compensate for the fact that your clothing options can be limited?
Live in joggers and jumpers. That's basically it. That's what I live in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seriously, I'm either in gym wear or I'm in joggers, jumpers, t-shirts. When it comes, if it comes to like a special occasion, a wedding or something, dresses are an absolute nightmare. You have to go into shops and you have to try stuff on.
Yep.
I always feel a little bit odd in sleeveless dresses because I don't know, I feel a little bit like a drag queen. But yeah, it is a bit annoying, but you just do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, if anyone out there has anything and any idea for that, I mean, definitely let me know, because I've had so many guests on that, they're more than willing, because it's one of those things where your clothing options are limited. And I always love to make, when I came back from college and like for 1 year, and I said I'd put on about 15 pounds, and I went to a friend's wedding, and then when I was at the reception, I bent over and I heard a shh right behind me. Luckily, it was the shirt inside the suit, so it wasn't the suit. So I lucked out really big time on that one. But that's when I sort of realized, like, hey, I might need to upgrade my wardrobe a little bit. So yeah, that was my definite warning sign. So yeah, I mean, again, clothing. Anyone has any ideas, get on it. But now we go to our favorite part of the podcast, and the audience favorite and my personal favorite, I should say, where I'm going to ask Claire here about a dozen or so questions and see how she responds. There are our health and fitness edition of the questionnaire. But for our first question, what is your go-to workout song at the moment?
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, my playlists are very, very broad. I love a bit of cheese, a bit of 80s.
Yes.
I'm a very, very happy trainer. I'm not an angry trainer. So I have to feel good. I have to feel calm before I work out. Mm-hmm. I know some people need to feel amped up, need to feel angry, have angry music. But for me, if a song makes me feel good or makes me feel chilled, then I'm in a good place. So anything that's uplifting, it could be dance, could be rock, cheese, 80s, anything that makes me feel good.
Believe me, I mean, I'm 24 years old, but I love the 80s cheese. That is about 90% of my playlist when I go to the gym. Like, I have the old Rocky IV soundtrack as like the cheesiest soundtrack of all time that I'll listen to. At least one of those songs where, yeah, I mean, that is my go-to. But the only time I ever listen to that, like, angry, like, metal music is leg day, just because leg day is just such a pain. But, yeah.
It's just, I can't do that. People say, they have the best workouts when they're in a bad mood. But for me, if I've got something on my mind, I can't focus on my training. I need to feel happy. I need to feel good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all about a bit of cheese.
100%. And that's some of the best music you had to listen to is the cheesy stuff, because, it sort of takes your mind off. It makes you a little bit more relaxed. So yeah, I mean, I highly agree with that. Yeah. But I also have a little problem. So I luckily I have a gym at my house, so I work out 75% of the time at home. But when I do go to the gym, I am one of the people that I have to wait for the beat to drop before like I do a set or something. So let's say I'm doing like a lat pull down, I might be sitting there for like 30 seconds like this. So I've literally had people come up to me and say like, "Hey, are you all right? Did you like pull your back out or something like that?" And I just go, "Oh no, I'm just waiting for the beat to drop in my music." And they're like, "Oh okay." So I am now known throughout my gym as the guy that waits for the beat to drop. So
Just pause.
yeah, I just pause, or like if I'm doing squats, I might be out there for like 30 seconds. But yeah, it's totally worth it if if you wait at the right amount of time. It totally works out. But now, out of all the celebrities on the planet, if you could work out with any celebrity, who would it be?
Oh gosh, wow. I don't know. It'd have to be somebody serious about their training because we don't want to be messing around.
Yep.
Oh gosh. I don't know. You just think of film stars when you think of celebrities, don't you? I'd like to train with a strongman.
Yep.
That's obviously not a known celebrity, but
what about like the Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. I saw him in person. He came all the way to Minnesota because our American football team is the Vikings, and he's from Iceland. So we had him come over and like blow a little horn that we do before every game. So I was at the stadium, so I saw him walk past, and yeah, he's a giant. Yeah,
who's serious about their training.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just put that down. But now, out of all the celebrities on the planet, if you could train any celebrity, who would it be?
Train, okay. Any reality TV star that comes off a show that then starts promoting some ridiculous health shake, releases a fitness DVD, I'd like to educate them on how to do it properly, with proper nutrition, and how to get fit, not feed this rubbish to people that you take this health shake and then you do this fitness DVD and magically look like this. So yeah, I'd like to educate somebody who, comes off a reality TV show. And
I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, all the times that my biggest pet peeve is to see like those celebrities that like when they're getting ready for movie roles or whatever, and you see them on Instagram and they're curling like 2-pound dumbbells and they're like, "Oh my God, getting ready for my movie role." And then next thing you know, like a month later, they've lost like 20 pounds and they're like trimmed down. It's like, yeah, that's not what you did. Let's be honest. That's not what you did to look like that. You did like an extreme diet. You did other things. I mean, I have no idea what they're doing, but it's like you're promoting this image of like, oh, it's this easy. You can just do this and to get into shape. And then
particular shake or supplement winds me up.
Yeah, that's 100%. So yeah, I would love to see that too. That would be an interesting, and as long as that went on the reality show too, so everyone could see that them actually getting their butt kicked in the gym would be a very nice thing for a pace of change to see. But now, out of all the things that you could change about the sport of bodybuilding, if you had the all-knowing power to do so, what would be the number one thing that you would want to change?
Change about bodybuilding. I guess the one thing that frustrates me the most at the moment is everybody becoming a coach, a prep coach, because it's, I don't know how you can regulate that, but it's, I walk into a gym or I do one show and hey, now I'm offering online coaching. It's all very well personal training or, educating somebody on nutrition and training someone for fitness, but for actually prepping someone for a show, it can be very, very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, especially prescribing supplement protocols and that. It's very worrying, but I wish it could be regulated, but I don't know how it could be. Everybody's a coach at the moment.
That is one thing that I didn't even know about before I got started with this, and then I realized that, where it's just like there's a lot of people too that just they only compete that one show just so that they can then say that they do that, and then they never compete ever again, and then they think that they're just this so-called expert because they competed at one show and that they can give everyone else advice. Yeah, I've
had people messaging me before asking me for advice for general fitness, nutrition advice, which I'm happy to help people.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks down the line, they're offering online coaching. I'm like, you don't even know. You asked me, you didn't even know this basic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like I said, it can't be regulated, but yeah, that's definitely one of those things where just something needs to be done about that, or at least a disclaimer where people should just say like people should have like a resume where then they say like what they did to get this, and then you're like, oh, they only competed at one show and then they haven't competed since. It's like that could be like one of those maybe like red flags where you're like, okay, they might not want to
There's some
be the coach.
amazing coaches out there, but there's hell of a lot of
for every good one there's about 5 or 6 bad ones, so it's hard to find them, but once you do find them, I mean, definitely stick with them because it's one of those things where it's hard to find them. But now, what is one item that you always need to have in your fridge?
What, visualizing my fridge now, I can just see a load of Greek yogurt. So yeah, Greek yogurt. Prep off season, always got Greek yogurt. That's always like involved in my last meal of the day is Greek yogurt.
Believe it or not, you're going to be like 100th health and fitness guest, and that's the first Greek yogurt that we've ever had on the show. So everyone, Greek yogurt is on the board. I just make a little list. I write down everyone's answers for these questions. Then once we get to a certain level of podcast, I'm going to release them and see like who answered the most. But yeah, Greek yogurt is on the board now. But one of the things that was the most shocking for me with that question is mustard has been answered about 5 times, and I never realized that. But it's because mustard is 0 calories from fat. So a lot of bodybuilders, put it on like their chicken when they're in prep, just so that it adds flavor. But I always tell them, I say, if you have to do that, you might want to reevaluate your life if you're having to put mustard on chicken to give it a little bit of taste.
Sauces, I don't do anything. Everything. Yeah. If you could see what I eat, you'd be like, oh, that's dry, that's bland. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried, when I was in college, I tried the bodybuilder diet for about 2 months, and then or the prep diet for 2 months, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Like, it was, just eating all that chicken, all that plain chicken, all that dry rice. I mean, it was, it got to a point where, I was just like, I can't do this. But so, I mean, that even adds more power to the people that do it, because, I personally, I take one look at that and I say, nope, I don't know if I can do that. But now, going on in our questionnaire, what is the last TV show that you binge watched?
Do you know what? I don't really watch a hell of a lot of TV. Mm-hmm. I'm more of a podcast, YouTube sort of person. I'm obsessed with podcasts. I've always got headphones on, always listening to podcasts. So it's more, I'm more sort of a podcasty person than a TV.
Well, then I'll play devil's advocate here. So other than my podcast, what is your favorite podcast to listen to?
I love the Advices radio series, the Size Game podcast. I also listen to like more educational and nutritional podcasts like Sigma Nutrition. So anything sort of fitness related. A bit of Joe Rogan if there's good guests on.
Yeah. I love Joe Rogan. I mean, whenever they have like Joey Diaz on or something like that, then I'll listen to that. But he's had a lot of good guests on lately, and that he's actually the one that really inspired me to get into this, because I started listening to him and I was like, oh yeah, that seems like that could be something that could be done. So everyone go listen to Joe Rogan if you haven't already. I mean, if you haven't already, I don't know what you're doing, because everyone listens to him. But that's super awesome. But now, what is a guilty pleasure movie that you enjoy?
The old going back to the 80s now, the old classic Dirty Dancing, bit Grease.
Yep.
Showing my age now. Some Christmas movies, Elf, Santa movie. There's some classics,
So, I'll give my guilty pleasure movie first. So again, all of my guy friends, close your ears. You never heard this, but Princess Bride is my guilty pleasure movie. I mean, I love that movie. I've watched it so many times that I've memorized a lot of the lines. I mean, I'll give an example. I was writing my thesis paper in college, and the movie came on, so I stopped what I was doing for 2 hours to watch the movie. And if that isn't dedication, I don't know what is. Stopping your thesis paper to watch that movie. But that's my ultimate, like date night movie. It's my ultimate, I love that movie. But you were talking about Dirty Dancing. So in a couple of weeks, we are having Eric Carmen come on the show, who wrote the song Hungry Eyes from Dirty Dancing.
Wow. Cool.
So he's coming on to talk about that, and he had a couple of other big hits in the 70s and 80s. So I'm excited to have him on. So you said Dirty Dancing, and also I'm a huge Patrick Swayze guy too. I mean, not his more. I mean, his romantic movies are cool, but his other movies I love too. But he would be the one guy. If he was still alive, I would be emailing him every single day, being like, "Hey, please come on this podcast, Patrick. Like, we really want to have you on." But I mean, he's one of my favorites. So Dirty Dancing is a good Dirty Dancing. I won't lie, if it's on, I'll stop and watch it for a little bit. It's a good movie. But now, if you could go back in time and talk to the 18-year-old version of yourself, what would be the best piece of advice you would give her?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess for where I am now and the competing side of it, like the training side of it, had I known that this is the way I was going to go, maybe then start training back then specifically for this, because I'd be interested to see my progress and whether I would have achieved more earlier, or whether I'd, achieved a better physique earlier. I would like to train specifically for that with a coach, get my nutrition on point, get the training on point, and not have done like all the other sort of netball, running, and all that. Because I ran a couple of marathons as well. 2 years before I started competing, my mum runs a charity, and she was getting a team together, and I was like, well, sod it, I'll do that. Well, it's only a marathon, isn't it? So I did that. So yeah, sort of double it. And I was still, earlier on going out partying on the weekends, training like Monday to Friday, but going out partying on weekends. So had I just sort of focused on that end goal, knowing that was gonna, maybe, but then, I've got all the memories of going out and doing, so
That's
it's very,
thing, yeah.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got all that cliche of what you've done in the past makes you who you are today, and all that blah blah blah.
Yeah, totally. Where for me, like when I was 18, I mean, I was a big people pleaser. So if I would just realize, like you're not gonna be able to please everyone. Not everyone's gonna get your vibe. So it's and that's totally fine. If I could go back, I would definitely say that. But now I didn't know that you were a marathon runner. So we've had a couple of marathon runners on. So what was your experience like running a marathon? Because even a girl that I'm really good friends with, she runs marathons, and I think that she's batshit crazy because she'll so it's like I'm in Minnesota, which is probably the coldest part of the entire country in the United States. So it is like 5 degrees Fahrenheit here right now. I mean, I don't know how you convert that to Celsius. So it is like freezing cold. And she'll still go out for like 5 or 6 mile runs just to do that. Yeah. So that just takes, a lot of determination on her part. But what was that experience like for you doing a marathon?
Yeah. I'm not a marathon runner. The longest I'd run before starting my training for that was 10K.
Oh, yeah.
That's the furthest I'd ever run. So my mum sort of said, do you fancy doing it? I'm like, yeah, why not? What, it's only a few extra. So yeah, so I wrote myself out this little program, how many miles I was going, and then it was, oh God, it wasn't enjoyable. I didn't mind the shorter runs, but it was so boring.
Yep.
So monotonous, so boring. It was just like, keep on going. So yeah, didn't really enjoy it, but me being me, it's the challenge side of it. So come rain or shine, frost, snow, whatever, I did my training. So, and that's just the way I am.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a knee niggle as well. So when I actually did the marathon, I was in pain with my left knee. It was excruciating.
Jeez.
But I knew if I'd stopped, the pain would get worse. So I just ran the whole thing, just did it. And I did an all right time. I did it in 3 hours 45, which was all right.
Wow.
So then the next year I said to my mum, if you're doing it again, I want to do it again because I want to beat my time and I want to do it without this knee pain. So then started my training again the next year and same knee pain. So I had to do it with the knee pain again. But then I did it in 3 hours 30. So I did beat it. But then I said, there's no way I'm doing this again. So, yeah.
Good God. Jeez. You did 2 marathons on knee pain? That is insane in the best way. That's insane in the best way. But yeah, still, wow. That's really incredible. Yeah. Well, yeah. That is incredible. Yeah, because running for me too. I mean, it's like I get after I reach a couple of miles, I'm like, okay, this is boring. Like, well, how do I like keep doing this? But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's good for you. But yeah, doing those marathons, I could never.
Pain tells me it's not good for me.
Yeah, well, yeah. But like the 5, I've done a 5K every once in a while, which is it's fine.
Yeah,
but
distance is all right, but long distance,
it's
just that
long distance
movement.
Yep, absolutely. Because and I also have a job where I walk around constantly. So if I work in 8 hours, I'll be walking around 20 miles during that 8 hours. So it's it's one of those things too where just after a while your feet just sort of they just get so tired of even moving. But now we're done with the questionnaire part. So now I love to ask, being a personal trainer, we have a lot of answers that differ for this next question, but being from a different country, the answer might be different. But what is the number one excuse that you get from potential clients as to why they don't want to adapt that healthy and fit lifestyle, or why they don't want to make that change?
It's always time. I haven't got the time. And I get that with, parents with children, busy jobs, single parents. I understand that, but it's all about priorities. If fitness is your priority, you will make time. It's just one of those things. Some people they love their favorite TV show in the evening, so that's a priority to them. So for them, they make time for that, and they always make sure they're in and that they're sat down to watch that. So it's all about priorities. So yeah, I get that, but you can make time if you make something a priority. I've got 2 children. I've had to do school runs throughout prep. A daughter might go on a school trip and have to be at school like an hour earlier, which means I get up and I do my cardio an hour earlier. It's about priorities. If you want to do something, then you will do it. But yeah, time is always the biggest excuse.
Yeah, and I always say to that, because that is 99% of the time that's the number one answer that we get for that question. And I always say, like you said, we all have the same 24 hours of the day. I mean, I've had nurses come on here that work 14-hour shifts that are then still able to get their workout in, where it's just it's all about that drive, or just how much you want it, and just being able to find that balance. And I mean, being a mom in and of itself, that's a full-time job. How much of a struggle is that like for you, just sort of still maintaining that lifestyle? Because like you said, if your kid has to get up maybe a little hour earlier to go on a field trip or whatnot, you have to constantly be juggling your schedule. How are you able to maintain that and still keep your sanity of being a mom and still being a personal trainer and still maintain that lifestyle?
Because for me, it's a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Fitness, whether I have kids or not, I make time for me, and I'm not going to drop my fitness goals for anybody. I will make time for it. Obviously I won't make my children suffer or what have you. When they were younger, I would do home workouts. As soon as they have a nap, I'd get a kettlebell. I'd do a workout at home. When they're a little bit older, I'd take them out. I'd go running, and I'd have them behind me on their bikes. I'd take them down to the park. I'd do sprint shuttle runs. I'd always make sure somehow I got it in. And then when they were at nursery school, in the hours I had when they were at school, I'd go to the gym. And like I say, school runs, when it then became, when I then started competing, it was then, get up earlier, do the cardio, fit in the training whenever I can. You just make time, you do it. So.
Yeah, that's, and that's the best piece of advice I could get. And again, everyone, if you go and follow Claire on Instagram, I'll leave a link for her page down below, and you'll just see, okay, she's had 2 kids. This is BS. I'm done. Because you take one look at her. I mean, it's like, that's one of the benefits too of working out people. I mean, it's like, you would never be able to tell if you just ran into her. It's like, oh, she's actually had 2 kids. Like, wow. I mean, we've had other women too like that, where it's just, again, another one of the benefits of working out. But I love to ask these 2 final questions before we wrap things up. So is there a show that you're currently eyeing right now to compete at next? Do you have a date at which your next show will be? Or is it one of those things where you're just currently just working on off season?
Well, yeah, I mean, last year was the first time there was a big shift in the federation, so we had more opportunity to enter pro qualifiers. So last year was the first time I entered a pro qualifier. I did 2 shows last year. So I did one in the UK and I placed second, so I just missed out on my pro card there. And then I did one in Italy and came second again. So this year the aim is to do a pro qualifier and try and get that step up. And yeah, we are generally, I generally compete sort of later on in the year, but this year we are thinking about maybe June, July time to jump. So I'm in the off season now, but we're starting to think, right, when am I going to prep? It could be soon-ish. So yeah, possibly June, July time.
Yeah, and again, we wish you nothing but the best. And honestly, I mean, seeing some of your photos and going through your Instagram, yeah, you're gonna get your pro card eventually. I mean, the way that you look when you do the shows, I was like, yeah, she's gonna get it for sure. Out of all the guests that I've talked to, I mean, yeah, you're one of those where I can just tell. And again, we wish you nothing but the best in your next prep that you do and in your next show. But is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to before we wrap things up?
Yeah, my sponsor and my coach, trained by JP. I'm one of his athletes on his members site. So if anybody's interested in following me, I've got an athlete's log on there. It's a paid member site. It's only $6.99 a month. I don't know what that is in US dollars, but $6.99.
Yeah. It's roughly about the same. Yeah.
It's a huge site. It's got a wealth of knowledge. There's tons of videos on there. There's a forum on there. You can ask questions. And then the athletes that he sponsors, I'm one of the athletes on there. So I do a daily log. I'll write all my training on there. I'll write all my diet on there. People can ask me questions on there. I'll be doing some training videos on there as well. So if anybody's interested in following me, they can find me on there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And then I just decided to ask this final question, which I'm actually going to include for all my other international guests that I come on. So if you have been to the United States, or even if you haven't been, if there could be one place in the United States that you'd like to go and visit if you came over, what would be that place?
Oh, LA maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't been to America. So
yeah. Yeah, I had a brother that lived there for about a year, and then he just said, yeah, I mean, if you think that people are healthy, I don't know wherever you are, he goes, everyone is in shape in LA. So it's like, it's such a pain to work out all the time because the gyms are so packed because like everyone goes there. So LA, I've never been there, but I've been to like New York City. I've been to other places. So
as well.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And I mean, I'd say, if I could go anywhere in Europe, I am going next summer to Norway to go visit some relatives that I have there, which I've never been there. So that's a really cool destination. But yeah, I mean, and again, everyone just travel if you can. And also go follow Clare on Instagram. Like I said, I'll leave her links down below. And Clare, we cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. I mean, we love having all of our guests come on, especially ones from the UK. I mean, they're the most guests that we've had on other than Americans. We've even had more UK than we've had Canadians. So for all the Canucks listening, you guys got to get your crap together. I should be having more Canadian guests, but that's something that I'm working on. But again, you guys, go and give her a follow down below. And thank you so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck. And again, you guys, go and give her a follow. This is Ryan Johnson, DD on the spot, signing out. Have a great day, everyone.